Hi there, viewers. We've got a special guest today, Lynn Atkins. Lynn is well known to many of us here on the coastal community in a number of ways, but today we're going to be talking about her experience in the theater world, specifically the Sea Ranch Thespians. We're going to hear from her about the next upcoming production. Lynn, thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Lynn, you've got the Thespians, and you're directing this next show. Have a production called Fiction, and the playwright is Steven Dietz, who I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about him. But before we dive in, Fiction begins the dates. It begins there's two separate weekends in September. Can you give us those dates again?
Sure. It's September 18th through the 21st and September 25th through the 28th at 4 o'clock. The shows are free of charge as a gift to the community by uh, by John Windward's estate and by Carol Emery. So you no longer need to have a parking pass. You come in and park, come in, try to get there a little bit early because we do try to start right on time. So
That's right.
early and be seated and ready to go.
And our viewers you need to reserve a ticket, correct? And you can do that online now with your new upgraded website, right?
Yes, we can do it online, or you can call Carol Emery at 707-785-2548. But online is really direct and easy. We've been updating our website, so thank you, Joel Chapin. And it's really easy to use.
Yeah, I've used it now several times, and it's very user friendly. And then, like many people, sometimes I've got to make a change. It turns out I have a conflict, and I want to change to a different date, and I can contact Carol through her email or phone. And the Thespians are always good about trying to accommodate uh,
Yes.
changes that come up in our lives, which is really great. Tell us a little bit about this play. Fiction is kind of an interesting title for a play because I sort of think plays by definition are fictional. So tell us a little about the play and tell us about Stephen Dietz, the playwright.
Well, Stephen Dietz is really very prolific. He has done a lot of shows. Most of them, well, they have opened at the Roundabout Theater. Several of them, actually, Fiction did open at Roundabout. But mostly the stuff that he's done has been for community theater. But this one it can either go either direction. It's professionally, it's a really interesting premise. It's there is a statement that's made in the play: no marriage, however great, is a tell-all proposition.
Mm,
And
mm.
so what we're finding is a couple that's been married for 20 years and has been what they thought was a very transparent, open relationship with each other and very loving.
Mhm.
That while it's still loving, there are things in their past that they haven't shared with each other.
Oh my, okay.
Certain things that have really even gone on into their present that they haven't shared with each other. And this all begins to come out.
Yeah.
And one of the things that one of the people in the couple, the gentleman Michael, says that he has had a made up relationship, is what he's telling his
Like
telling
like like a fantasy that
like a
he's
fantasy relationship that he has
okay.
had for ongoing, and he's put it into his journals.
Uh-huh.
And going, oh right, sure. I'm reading it. It's right here. This is real. I can tell when things are real. So that's where the dynamic comes in. So is it fiction or is it true? What is actually really happening? And how can they come out the other end of this? Which I think is really interesting because we're living in a situation right now where so much of fiction is given to us as truth.
Yeah, or it's difficult to
To
separate
tell the difference.
the reality from the phony stuff. Yeah.
Right. And that's actually what's happening in this play.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it's a very interesting premise. And how do they make their way back to each other and build that trust again?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a,
Let's
it's a
talk.
love story. It's a very beautiful love story between
Yeah,
these two people.
and I would guess a story that would fall into most people's experiences, whether they're married or have been in a long-term
Right.
relationship. Um, do you really know everything about that other person, even if it's been, in this case, 20 years in this story? But a lot of people have been married longer than that. And do you know every single thing, or has it, yeah,
It's
you kind of get,
interesting.
yeah,
My husband and I, Phil, and I have been married for 57 years. And I think I know everything about him. But
hmm
every once in a while, he'll say something, and I'm going like, "What? How can you think that? I don't think that.
yeah,
How can you possibly?" It takes me by surprise that he is not an extension of me. He is his own person with his own thoughts and his own ideas, and that's what this couple is finding out after 20
yeah,
years married.
yeah,
That while they are very close to each other and they felt that their relationship was very transparent, there's a lot that they don't know and a
yeah,
lot that they're learning about each other and how do they deal with it.
right. Hey, let's talk about the cast a little bit. You've cast and the play has three characters in it.
Right,
The married couple and then another woman,
right.
which immediately gives us all kinds of ideas at that point, and which I'll let you dive into in a bit. But let's talk about who you cast because the cast are tell us who they are and uh, from what I understand, they're all relatively new
They are.
to acting, to play acting, and being in the theater world. Tell us about the cast and who they play and
Well,
what they're doing.
the gentleman that plays Michael, I would say it's really Michael is the narrator of this story. And
Mm,
so a lot of this is coming through his memories and through his reading of various journals. Is Vinu BJ, and he's done a couple of shows. The last show he was in was Death Trap, and that was really pretty much the major and one of the only things he's done for years and years.
yeah, yeah,
He is he what he has said he wants to be able as an actor to be able to enter the character, to become the character, and to feel that as far as being the character. And he's really rapidly approaching being able to do that. What
wonderful.
my thought is, as an actor, we get to know the character really, really well, and in the front of our brain, we act and we become and feel the character's emotions. And in the back of our brain is the actor who is making sure we don't walk off the stage, that we remember our blocking,
Yeah, yeah,
that's actually helping us with the technical part of things. And he said that before, when he's done something, it's mostly just been the technical stuff that he does what he's told. And he is now, this is a very emotional role, a very sensitive role, and he's diving into it. That's his big goal, is to feel
yeah,
the character, and he's doing that. It's beautiful. The woman that's playing his wife is his wife in real life.
yeah.
That's Connie VJ. She hasn't done anything since, I think she did a Bertolt Brecht show years and years ago. I think it was Good Woman of Zetzwin, but don't quote me.
Okay.
Anyway, uh, she hasn't done anything for a really long time, but she's really, really good. I was really wanting somebody that could have that kind of relationship where the character is full of fun and full of life. And I was looking for somebody when I was auditioning, and it was interesting. I was at a gathering at a friend's house, and I hadn't met Shani before, and Shani and Vinu were together, and they were bantering back and forth, and I thought, oh, there's my couple. And when I talked to Vinu, he said, have you cast the role of Linda? And I said, no, not yet. And he said, well, Shani would like to read for you. I'm like, yay!
That's great.
It was meant to be. And
Yeah,
the other person is Fran Slavin.
sure.
She plays the other woman, but she is the other woman to both Linda and to Michael.
Yeah.
She plays Abby, and as far as Linda and Abby are concerned, there is a relationship there that has to do with the authoring of a book.
Okay.
And there again, there's a bit of fiction involved between the two of them. So all three of these people are fairly new, but there's something that I found over the years I've been directing at the Sea Ranch and for many years at the Art Center. Kathy Hitt and I did Art Center Theater for 11 years, and we did 2 to 3 shows a year. I did a musical every year for like 10, 11 years. Mm-hmm. But what I found is that there are people that can be taught to act, that you can teach them technique, you can teach them the language so they can speak the language. They know what upstage and downstage, and they know what open out and all of those kinds of things mean. But they can be taught, and they can become very sufficient and sometimes quite good actors. But there are a group of people that have the ability to portray a character that is innate within them.
Yeah.
They just seem to know.
Yeah.
And so we still have to talk about, the language and all of that kind of stuff if they haven't done a show for a long time. But they have that ability just that's lying inside of them to create a character that feels real. And I have lucked out. Serendipity hit really hard in a lovely way because all three of my actors have this ability. They're doing a brilliant job. And this is a difficult play to do.
Yeah, it's a little bit like, if I can make an analogy in the sports world, perhaps lots of people watch different sports, and many of us have heard stories or know people who worked real hard at learning the skills, and they were coached really well and became perhaps quite proficient at their sport.
Right.
And then sometimes you see somebody, come up to the plate to go at bat, or to shoot a jump shot, shoot a 3-pointer, and you just go, boy,
that's
you know that. Yeah, there's poetry, and a lot of times you say, boy, he or she's a natural.
Yeah.
Like there was something innate. Certainly they had to be coached and they had to learn, and certainly they have to practice, their skill or their craft, just as you do in the theater. You've got to practice and everything. But that idea that for some people it just clicks, and they have an ability, almost something that can't be coached or directed, something inside their own head that a director can't necessarily make that happen inside the person, just like a sports coach can't necessarily make that happen. You can teach them a lot of things, you can rehearse them, you can make them better, but you can't necessarily make them a natural. They kind of have to bring that themselves.
And that's what I have with these three actors. And it's really a good thing that we have this jump start on the story, because the way this play is written, it's like a memory play. The Michael is going through all of his wife's journals. They have wanted to read each other's journals. And
Right.
so it's going through all of that. So what ends up happening in the play is it sort of, and this is going to sound a little weird, so I'll explain it. It sort of floats between time and space. So he'll be reading, and Linda or Abby will be actually doing what he's reading about. So you're seeing what he's saying. They act it out, but it's at a different time. So it's
Right.
something because he's reading it. It was in the past,
Yeah.
and there are different places that things take place. So what we've done, we have a brilliant set designer in Mark Kadruki, and he has built a set that's a little different from something we've done over in the recent years. We have done, Carol looked it up, I think we've done 6 or 7 shows where the stage is landscape. It runs along the side of the barn instead of proscenium, where it runs along the long depth of the barn.
Oh, okay.
And so what we're doing with this now, I directed another show years ago where the set was like that. That was Tuesdays with Maury, and I think that might have been, I don't know whether that was one of the last, but anyway. What we've done is the set runs the part of the length of the barn, and then we have arena style seating,
Okay.
so that people are seated on either side and the front. Had wanted to do it as theater in the round, but there's just not enough room. I can't get the stage up and get people all the way around the stage.
Yeah.
So that's the closest I could do. And what Mark has done is he has designed just a little work of art. I had some ideas. I was in London with American Conservatory Theater about a month or so ago, seeing shows in London. And I saw one show that I thought, wow, this would be really great to do something like this for our set for fiction. And I came back and talked to him, and we built it. We are using the rear screen projector, and we have this. The set is 3 different levels.
Okay.
So it's really interesting, and it allows us to move the characters not only within time, like where we're looking back,
Mm-hmm.
but also within space, where we're moving them from area to area, from a cafe to a bar to where a room and Linda and Michael's home, that kind of thing. So the set is really versatile, and it's really very attractive. I think Mark has outdone himself, and he
Wow.
actually did I Hate Hamlet for me when that was the 50th show, and that was a spectacular set. When we rose the curtain raised for the second act, the set got applause. But this set is I think it's different, and he's been able to take something that is very simple and actually make it something that is really worthwhile artistically. Because so often you look at a show or a play and you say, well, that's simple, but it's really not. The complexity is hidden amongst you just want to make it look simple.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of this play, from the audience point of view, there's flashbacks in this play, and there's scenes that are in the present, scenes that are in the past, scenes that you're not quite sure uh, if it's true, if it really happened, or if it's in somebody's mind, a little fantasy or some kind of fictional thing. So time and recollection are a little bit jumbled in
Okay.
this play, and maybe to the point where the audience, tell me if this is correct, maybe the audience in the moment while they're watching the play isn't quite sure what's real and what happened when, and that's part of the unknown. That's part of the premise of the play. Is that
That's part of the fun. Yes,
yeah,
that happened. What we're being very careful, though, is to make sure that as we move through each scene, that we take the audience with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to be careful that we don't leave them behind and then they are confused with what's going on. So we're being very, very careful that we are moving along. And if the idea is for the audience to question what they're seeing, we're trying to do it in a way that we give them permission as far as the play and its content is concerned to question it, not feel that they messed up in some way because they're questioning.
Right, right. In other words, when Michael is saying, "No, this relationship that I've written about in my journals was just an imaginary thing I had," and Linda says, "No, no, this really happened."
Well,
The-
yeah,
the-
and I know you. I mean, I can read this. What, you think I'm stupid?
right, but
So,
then that compels the audience to say, wait a minute, who do I really believe?
exactly.
Which one is the truth? Because I want to believe I want them to have this happy marriage because that would be nice, in the show. But this looks like some tension is going to happen here. And the audience almost has to begin to make some sort of judgment about where the truth actually is, or is somebody lying, or maybe not lying, is somebody maybe fudging a little bit, maybe there's a white lie, maybe it is all an imaginary, but you
I
don't
mean,
know that.
what is the fiction?
Yeah,
This
what
what
is
it's
the
all
fiction?
about. It's fiction.
Yeah, yeah, true. Well, I won't ask you to spoil the whole thing because but obviously, a lot of times we like to see shows, whether they're plays or programs, have a real neat, tidy ending. Um, and everybody goes home happy because it all works out. Um, does this play, without without giving too much away, does this play have a tidy, happy ending, and we all go at the end and we go, "Oh, that's wonderful. Everything worked out. Now everybody can go on. These
I'll
three
say that
people go on in their lives."
I'd say that it has a tidy ending.
Okay.
It comes full circle.
Okay.
So it ends how it begins.
Okay. Okay.
So I, which I probably shouldn't have said that, but I've given
No, it's
away.
okay.
But it is very neat and tidy. It all ties up, and it comes to a conclusion at the end.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's very interesting. So the audience gets brought through a sequence of times and experiences.
Right? And it comes full circle.
It
It goes all the way
crystallizes.
around
It
and
crystallizes. Okay, that's very okay. Good. That's interesting. Um, who knows? We've all seen programs and shows where it left you hanging.
yeah.
You know, sometimes that's deliberate so that the sequel will pick up where the last one left off, or who knows? Yeah,
Well,
there's all that.
you know what happens at the end of this. It's not going to
Yeah,
leave. It,
yeah.
it tells you.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, what's your one last question, Lynn? What have you enjoyed or found or surprising or what's delighted you as the director in working on this play? If you could pick one idea or maybe one thing that happened that made you say, "Gosh, I'm really having a good time. I'm really glad I'm directing this play."
The fact that we have a cast. The cast really has delighted me. I mean, it
Okay.
really
Okay.
has. They're
Yeah.
wonderful. But we have a cast that is behaving as an ensemble, and that's really important. We work as a team,
Yeah.
and when I block a play, then I will give generalized basic parameters of things that I want done, and then they'll work within that. Or
Right.
if they're finding that now that they're working with it, well, if I did this, it might be better. And so, yeah, well, let's try it.
Yeah.
And so bringing that kind of thing forward. And so the ownership of the play is ensemble.
Right.
And that's a delight. One of the things I found, I spent 30 years in the corporate world. And with the people that were my direct reports, I would surround myself with the smartest, brightest people I could find. And then I'd ask for their opinions on things because that made me better. They made me better. And
Right.
if I disagreed, it was still my decision, my ultimate decision to say yes or no. But getting their opinions and actually being able to implement them made what I was doing way better. And when I'm able to do that with the cast, it's a real delight. And I would say that that's been my most fun, being
Oh,
able
that's
to
cool.
collaborate with them like that.
Oh, that's fantastic. Lynn, thanks so much. This has been a wonderful 30 minutes or so to hear about the play Fiction by Steven Dietz. The Sea Ranch Thespians will be performing this in on over an 8-day period, 2 separate weekends in September. Go to searanchthespians.com to get information and reserve your seats. Lynn's going to be, we've had a wonderful visit here with Lynn as the director, and she's been telling us about a great three-person cast, which I think will be fascinating. A cast without lots of theater experience. In some cases, a little bit of theater experience, but sounds like an exciting. I think ensemble is the word to use. Sounds like an exciting ensemble, and we're all looking forward to seeing it.
Thank you. Really
Abs-
appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, Lynn. We'll see you. We'll see you in the barn. And do they still say break a leg in the theater? We'll
Oh,
say that. I'll say
yeah,
that anyway. Break a leg, Lynn.
they do. Thank you.
You bet.